Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Laura. We are going to do another video for Sunday. I don't know that I'm going to be able to repeat all of these videos every Sunday, but I'm going to try because I don't like routine, I don't like schedules, but we do not consent to any reptilian or archon entities. We do not consent to you. Let's get a guide. I want to start this message with a guide. I was getting a lot of messages from Commander Ashtar coming through. A lot of this was about once you have your initial activation and how long it takes for that initial activation to be fully grounded in. It's not like anchored, it's grounded, because there's a sense of you feeling very euphoric after like a spiritual awakening, to say the least. There's a sense of euphoria. There's also a sense of a dark night of the soul. A lot of that happens all within the same first 6 months, first year. I have done lots of readings for people who go into psychosis, who get checked in to mental health facilities because it's so much codes coming in. And of course, the Matrix doesn't say it that way, but that is what it is. And so your physical vessel can struggle to handle the amount of energy that you are receiving. And I'm not a doctor, but this is coming from Commander Ashtar. So there was a message, I want to say it was around 3 months ago, if we're in linear time, that came through, and I was going to do a message about it then, but it's very difficult for me to do, as you know, it's like difficult for me to come on to do readings and messages, but I'm starting to come on again to do them. But there is this feeling of that 3 months ago, there was a sense that a lot of us had reached a place, a lot of the 144,000, a lot of the family of light, had gotten to a place where we feel like we are now grounded in our new self, in our spiritual awakening has grounded in. And so it's kind of like not as euphoric. In other words, it's not as euphoric because what I was getting from Commander Ashtar was that it takes 5 to 6 years for you to feel okay again, for you to feel like, and you could actually even at that point feel like, did I go back to sleep? Am I back in my third dimension avatar? Because that's how it feels for your fifth dimension self and above. Really, it's a lot of us, it's a ninth dimension self, it's a seventh dimension self, whatever dimension you come from as a Pleiadian and Arcturian. Pleiadians are generally fifth to seventh dimensional beings. Arcturians are seventh to ninth dimensional beings. If you're a Blue Avian, you might be a 12th dimensional being. Okay, so it takes a long time depending on what dimension you are being anchored in from, grounded in from, to feel normal again. We're never really normal, but you might feel physically like, or mentally or energetically, all of your bodies are starting to align. We have 5 bodies. We have a physical body, we have a mental body, we have an energetic body, an emotional body, a spiritual body. Okay. So anyway, I was getting that message that if you just had a spiritual awakening and you're just finding this now, you may still feel a little bit wild in your vessel. I just saw 333. You're still on the right path. It just takes a long time because a lot of these frequencies are so new and radical. They've never been on Earth before, and not since Lemuria. They have been on Earth before, but not in millennia, okay? Not in 26,000 years since the fall of Atlantis have they been on Earth before. And so we have had over the thousands of years knowing of what was coming, knowing of what we had access to, knowing of what we could potentially access, but we were not able to access it because it wasn't time yet on the Earth. And so the Earth is now ready to receive these Lightcode activations and to receive these activations within us as the Starseeds, within us as the 144,000. And you are kind of like the first. So it's going to feel overwhelming. It's a very overwhelming experience, and it's really hard to put into words. I just saw Commander Ashtar. Okay, where did he go? I just saw him. Here he is. So let's get a guide. I want to see, don't know if that was supposed to be the entire message today, but I wanted to start off with that message because it had been coming through so strong. And I attempted to make 30-second reels, whatever, and it was just too much information. I couldn't put it into a 30-second reel. A lot of times that happens, that I get these very profound, like long form messages. That's why I make these YouTube videos instead of doing everything on a 30-second reel, because some of the messages need more time and need more words to explain them. Okay. Mother Mary, love and peace. Melchizedek, higher learning, and Jesus. Oh, that's so wild. So we've got Jesus and we've got Mother Mary today. We've got the Christ stream coming in. And I remember I mentioned this. I hate this lighting, by the way. I have this ring light. I'm just going to make it a little bit brighter. Everything looks very beige. Anyway, it's fine. I'm a visual person. So we have this connection to the Christ stream coming in, because you never as a galactic being want to get too far away from the Christ stream, or you're going to be susceptible to entities. You're going to be susceptible to reptilian entities and all kinds of these like demonic beings that can attempt to attach to you. So even though you may not align fully with religion, this is not about religion. This is about staying connected to me, this is divine feminine, divine masculine in their most purest form. We could have gotten Mary Magdalene. What is interesting to me is to get Mother Mary instead of Mary Magdalene. It's telling me to pay attention to the Empress and the Mother archetype, and the Mother energy is important here. Okay, so we've got Melchizedek. This is about the sacred geometry that is being revealed to the high priests, and the high priest being activated. And the high priests are really, the order of Melchizedek was to preserve the information of the Christ stream. So all of this is, I guess, what the message wants to be about today. I just want to see what it says in the book about Melchizedek, because I feel like this is very significant that he's coming through, because this is a message not only to the divine feminine, this is a message to divine masculine, very strong. So a lot of times for masculines, when I do readings for masculines, Melchizedek comes through because you are a high priest, and that needs to be acknowledged, and that needs to be confirmed. So anyway, Melchizedek is a high priest who is mentioned in the Bible's book of Genesis, and many other sources too. So this is, to me, when I hear about the book of Genesis, I immediately feel like we're talking about the new earth, because Genesis of the new earth is where we currently are and what we are here to bring. So he is here to assist the earth through the ascension process, which is basically moving everyone and everything back into a state of love and harmony. And this is love and peace. Okay. He appears with a bright light around him and a long white beard to match his ancient high priest ways, like Gandalf. Gandalf or Dumbledore, I guess you could say both. They're all the same archetype. Okay. It is said that he has his own order of light-filled priests who are able to help spiritual people develop their gifts and qualities. He works on a high energetic level, and we can connect with him through sacred geometry and by focusing on ancient star-shaped symbols, like a tetrahedron, like a Merkaba, okay? And I talk about the Merkaba a lot, because this is basically like taking where we have been with masculine and feminine energies and elevating it, and elevating us all into some type of more expanded, more like, this is like the X-Men coming out and being the new wave of spiritual warriors on the earth. Okay. Let's get a Starseed card. There's a lot of Starseed energy here. Father healing, mother healing are also implied. They literally say on the cards, father healing, mother healing. You may be doing some kind of healing for your family at this time. I do also feel like, just because I personally am anchoring in the mother archetype in my field, you may be playing with those archetypes. You may be a father or a mother yourself. And so that's a whole other identity archetype code that starts to be programmed to you. And when I say programmed, it's not like we're still in the matrix programming codes. You're at a higher frequency programming codes. So it's like when Neo wanted to get a code so that he could do Kung Fu, he downloaded it into his field and he could do it. And that's kind of like when you download your gifts. You're downloading your gifts from the field, and you're downloading your new archetypes from the field so that you can be a new version of you, so that you can access an old template, because it's not like it's new to you. It's ancient, but it's something that you need to use in order to be a more, what's the word? But I'm losing my words as I to get no sleep. And also, by the way, thank you for watching the video last week and liking the video and everything, because I am doing everything that I'm doing on no sleep. I used to only sleep. So I'm lucky, I suppose, that I never really have had a matrix job, and I've always been able to sleep in. And so until I had the baby, I got 9 hours of sleep every day, and now I'm getting like 4 to 6. So my words have been escaping me, and I hope that they come back at some point, because I need my words. Anyway, what I was saying is that to be your most, I want to say, purposeful self, the most powerful version of you, you have to be able to access new gifts, or I would say old gifts that you used in prior lifetimes. Like for me, reading cards, oracle cards, tarot cards was kind of a downloaded gift that I downloaded once I had my awakening, because I did them in other lifetimes. I've done this in other lifetimes, obviously. I don't know how. It didn't just magically start to happen in this lifetime. I just saw 1144. Okay. We're getting messenger. Looks a lot like Jesus energy again. We're getting big picture thinking, Pleiadian ideas, visionary energy, and weight of the world. Interesting. Star bathing is on the bottom of the deck. This is the one that my rabbit ate one time. Okay. Star bathing, which are your activation codes, the light body, the crystal grid, the transmission. To me, the weight of the world and star bathing coming through is basically saying that you are getting, okay, people, it's funny that this is Starseed Church and we're getting all this Jesus energy. Anyway, so this Sirius energy, and we're in a Sirius Stargate portal right now. It's only 4 days a year, July 3rd to July 7th. The Sirius Stargate is open, and we're getting Sirius energy, okay? Because I don't make this up. And also, I want to say, just because we get, there's a Sirian Stargate, there's a Lion's Gate, there's all this, gates, and portals. It's kind of like, you could say even like 2-2 is a portal, 11-11 is a portal, whatever. There's dates on the calendar. The trap is not to let that become your religion. That's what I'm getting from this message first. Not to let these, they're like Starseed holidays. And it's not like it creates your own loop. It creates your own spiritual loop when you look forward to, Burning Man every year or whatever, because you're not, it's like Christmas, it's like keeping you in a loop. So you don't want to really, unless you like it, unless whatever, like it and be in a loop if you want, but acknowledge that it is another attempt of the spiritual community to keep you in a loop. So I would always take an awakened, conscious approach to knowing that you don't want to continue to celebrate things if they keep you thinking and feeling the same way, and never really changing and expanding, okay? Because the new earth is... and the Merkaba, the tetrahedrons that are activated around you, that are kind of keeping you in one timeline or multiple timelines or moving you into different frequencies. If you continue to activate only the same kind of thing over and over again and pay attention to the same things over and over again, you're staying in the same program loop. And the purpose, I feel, of what we're here to do is to move us out of the program loops into total new realities and frequencies that we have not accessed yet. Starbathing, okay? This is your vessel and the crystal grid and the earth, the weight of the world. The weight of the world is literally needing to dissolve and you're needing to be in your light body. And in your light body, because in Lemuria we were in our light bodies and we were not so heavy and dense. And so we didn't look so heavy and dense. And you're going to start to literally change shape. A lot of us are, it's funny because I don't want to be controversial saying this because I know I'm not like a big person, but I've been a little bit bigger after the pregnancy and the postpartum and everything. Like I anchored in a new archetype, the mother archetype, and it literally added weight to my frame. It added like weight to me. And so I haven't felt, it's been harder for me to access my light body because I'm anchoring in this mother archetype. This is a tangent, but I'm just saying, like, when I had the baby comes with his own energy that I had to kind of bring through my entire vessel and body. So as a mother, when you bring through anything through your vessel and body, it's kind of like your whole vessel undergoes like a wave of energy that you have to integrate. And so there may have been, for a lot of light workers, just because, yes, this is personal to me, but this is coming through as the message, it might be that we are all integrating waves of frequencies, and you may have fluctuated in weight. That's what I have never in my life, and I've been using this deck for a very long time, I've never translated this card as literal weight, but that's what it feels like. It's like your physical vessel is a very, it's your time machine. So like when you're in a time machine, if you think of your Merkaba, activating your Merkaba as the force field around your time machine, your vessel, you're going to go through fluctuations. So there's this feeling that you yourself are the code and you are fluctuating and you are always alchemizing energy. And so you use yourself as like the dogs are barking. It's funny because the Sirian energy is dogs. Okay, dogs are out there. So anyway, it feels like what I'm getting is that you're literally having to be focused physically, which is unusual for us because we're typically focused spiritually. I just saw 1717. We're usually focused. This is typically a union channel. Okay, so to get all these messages about the self, the codes, the gifts. This is you becoming the most highly activated God self aspect of you, because you've got Jesus, who's the Son of God, literally. It's the idea. It's really just about him accessing his higher self frequency and using that in the world and healing people. Okay. So the weight of the world sometimes is also the empath card. And it's about when you're an empath, you're going to feel what the world is going through much more profoundly than others. So you're going to be affected by the actual dense frequency being lifted off the earth. So if the world's density is lifting and we're not becoming so heavy and dense, you're actually probably going to transmute that through your physical vessel as it lifts out of the earth. Okay? Big picture thinking. It's Pleiades energy, and it's about what's to come. It's a vision card, and it's about this portal where you now have access to, it's interesting because we literally get the Sirian portal, and it's what's happening this week. So this is happening now. This is happening currently. I'm gonna get a tarot card on this. Actually, let's get a shaman card. Okay, what is happening right now? What it feels like is that there is a weight being lifted off of you. I hope that's not too simplified, but I do feel there's a weight being lifted off of you. Maybe it's a mother-father imprint. Maybe it's something. Maybe it's a version of you that you no longer feel that you are, like the maiden. For a lot of feminines, it could be that you have outgrown the maiden archetype and you are entering the mother archetype. And that happens, by the way, before you become a mother. So it's a process. It could be that. It could be for a masculine that you are moving out of page energy, knight energy, and moving into king energy, moving into a high priest, magician energy. Okay, because Melchizedek, Gandalf, Dumbledore is like the highest level magician. Anyway, let's Get a shaman card. Tell me about this portal. Tell me about this week. And whenever, of course, I have to say that if you're watching this video years later and you're watching this message years after I post it, it's still relevant because you find everything you're meant to find when you're meant to find it. The Earthkeeper, the Circle. So they wanted to come out together. I was just going to pull one card, but I'm getting two. The Earthkeeper is what we're literally being called to bring to the earth, and it's coming together. The circle is coming together, and it's also, because you've got a lot of energy with the hands. You've got the hands here, you've got the hands here. I'm really drawn to all the hands. Jesus has his hands like this. And it's like there's a feeling of the activated ones, the high frequency souls, bringing your energy to the earth and affecting the earth. Instead of the earth affecting you, you're affecting the earth. Now it's reversed. So that's what this portal is doing. Maybe it's reversing the poles, maybe it's reversing something, but it's like the power is shifting. And we got this message last week in a slightly different way, that the power is shifting from dark to light, but that's what I'm getting here again. There's really no darkness in this message. Good. Let me get a tarot card on this before I speak too much. But there is a feeling that we are being called to bring your gifts out into the open, the circle. Healing hands is like a big theme here. Jesus would lay his hands on and heal others. And it's like accessing you as a healer, accessing you as a mystic, as a someone who can shape energy, someone who can shape their reality. Okay. Messenger, and bring harmony and balance to the earth realm. Okay. Yeah, 9 of Pentacles. 9 of Pentacles, 6 of Swords, Page of Swords. This is on the bottom of the deck. 2 of Pentacles. This is like a feeling of, I feel like we got this card recently too. I'm just getting a little deja vu, but that's because energy doesn't shift radically from one week to the next, especially if the message is big enough that it wants to be somewhat repeated. This is balancing between harmony and balance between the old earth and the new earth. And this is about you finding your abundance. 9 of Pentacles, especially divine feminine energy, but it could be feminine or masculine. Finding your abundance, finding your success in the higher frequencies, okay? And we are not going to find success in the lower world. We're not going to find success in the old earth, okay? You're going to only find success once you activate your Merkaba, use your divine gifts. 6 of Swords, Page of Swords. Let's go one more. Ace of Cups. Okay. Yeah. Because you're going to have to move to where, this is interesting because you've got this big picture thinking, Page of Swords energy, which is all about ideas. You have all the light bulbs here. To me, this card is about, it can be communication. It can be communicating your ideas. It can be having ideas. It can be trying to communicate what it is that you're here to say, what you're here to see, and where you are being moved. Okay, so this is Mary Magdalene. On the original tarot, it's supposed to be Mary Magdalene in her boat leaving after the crucifixion and moving to a different place on the earth because she's leaving Jesus and going her new direction. Okay, and she's being pulled by someone that's like in the boat, that's like moving the boat for her. But anyway, she's the only one on this card in this deck with all the crows. But there's a sense of Mary Magdalene moving to where she is going to feel, Ace of Cups, where she is going to feel like she's safe to reveal her heart. And Ace of Cups is a new energy in love. So this can be for divine feminine, a new chapter in your love life. This can be a sense of purification, a sense of clearing the energy for you to have a new outlook on love, and a feeling of you finding love in a place where it's going to be new to you. You could literally be moving somewhere new and finding someone there, or you could be taking a trip and finding someone there. But there is a feeling of movement to love and movement to a more heightened reality. Okay. Where your heart chakra is open. This is the heart chakra. So the heart chakra to me is places on the earth that are high enough in frequency that you feel like you can be vulnerable to share your heart, to share your mission, to share your work, to share your gifts. Not everywhere feels good to do that. And I'm not getting that there's any place specifically. You're just going to feel it or you won't. You'll feel the places on the earthkeeper, the circle. You'll feel the places, the people around you. You'll feel where you, and to me, it's not really about letting them influence you. It's about you knowing that you're there to influence them. You are where you're meant to be on the earth because you're there. Otherwise, you wouldn't be there. You'd be somewhere else. And you're meant to be there to raise the frequency and to raise the vibration and to affect the people around you in some type of way. Okay. I guess that's the message today. I feel like the gatherer is on the bottom of the deck. So it is about gathering together with others, finding community, okay, being more of a participant in life instead of being a hermit. This doesn't feel, I'm not like reserved in this reading looking at it. I feel like I'm fully immersed in it. So there is a sense of being immersed in what you're here to do in your community, in your work. Okay, Page of Swords is someone on a tightrope, reading, sharing, creating. Okay, being a little bit risky, you could say. Okay, taking risks. I guess that's the message today. I feel like I want to get one more energy card to leave us with. Let's get a dragon card. Okay. Because this is all very high frequency, because this feels like a lot of higher light codes coming in. Let's get a dragon. And we'll wrap this up. Okay. Sun Dragon, Amplification, Radiance, Divinity. And it's the Sirius A that is conjunct the sun, I think. I'm not an astrologer. I just know a lot of astrology. But there is a feeling of the sun, which is the highest light code that there is. The light code comes from the sun. Amplification, Radiance, Divinity. Literally, that the sun is amplifying your divinity. The sun light codes that are coming in, we're in July, we're in summer, we're in all of this like kind of creative, expanded energy that you are going to be, you're going to have a bigger presence than you believe that you do now. This is like someone who's being elevated into a much bigger place with all of your light codes, with all of your downloads, and it's going to be very successful. This is like don't play too small. If you play too small, you won't be successful. In order to be successful, you have to play very, very big and do things that are way outside your comfort zone, do things that are way bigger than feel comfortable to you. Otherwise, they won't have an impact. Okay, I hope that helps. It's fun. Thank you for joining me for Starseed Sunday. We'll try to do this every Sunday, but if it's not every Sunday, it'll be someday every week. And I'm sending you all much peace and light. If you want to book a personal reading, I have the link in the description box in my link tree. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend, rest of the Sirian Stargate portal. Take care, everyone.